Hey, hello. It's Sunday again, and we started 1 hour later than we used to do that. Ooh, I have some feedback from my other computer. Sorry about that. Um, it's Python 0 to Hero. I think just to recap, we have actually been like kind of quite a long way. I know it's only a few weeks, but actually you're quite far from zero already, because I already cover all the basics concepts. And today I got to talk a little bit about classes. And make sure you grab the slides. So the slides is at the top there, you see. And yeah, so now, we after classes, I think you can do a lot of stuff with Python already. You could even have program that actually um, works and very close to what you would do in real life situation. It's not just the exercise like just for fun printing some hello worlds. We far past that point. So I would say that now it's like starting to get into intermediate topic. But there's still a lot of things to talk about, and a lot of things that we would continue to learn. So I would keep doing this. So just to let you know that if you just join, if you just found this out or a friend told you, thank you for coming here live. If you can say hi in the chat, that would be great. And yeah, if you could, if you could, like, if you're just like beginner, if you have hasn't like get any Python experience, I think what you could do is that you could go to my website again there, below my name, and you will find those tutorial that we did in the past weeks. Actually, it has been a month already. This is like episode 6, I think. Like how many? Yeah, we have done like 5 of them before. So yeah, so the first one is installing Python, and the last 4 is like covering some basic concept in Python. So if you're an absolute beginner, I would recommend you go to my website and check those out. You may have to, scroll down a bit and, press the button to have more to, find the older videos. But I may redo my website actually, so people can just like go by collection, so it's easier to find the videos. Mm, I do have a YouTube, but the YouTube, I hasn't got enough subscriber yet to get a name, so it's not as good as Twitch that you can find me by just typing my name, checking_ho to find me. So I tend to not use YouTube that much, and the easiest to find my videos would be, I guess, like go to my website. There are also other like interesting programs, tutorials, and other like blog posts that you may be interested. I have done some like past tutorials in the past, so those may also be something that is interesting, that you want to check that out. So okay, so that's the housekeeping. And okay, and also last thing, I think starting from this week is you can see that we start at 2 p.m. instead. And so because I have realized that I hasn't got like many live view recently. I think because it may be because people, it's Sunday, and like now people are you know like or stay at home, and then like they may be watching movies and doing other stuff in Saturday and stay up quite late. So Sunday, I think start in the afternoon is better than it's like slightly later. I think it's maybe better for people that or maybe they want to like spend a morning, make some nice brunch with their loved ones. And so 2, I think is a good time. So let me know if you think that is not. So I could, so yeah, I really like why I'm doing this. I want people to be able to watch live, because like then I can take questions and react to it. I think it's much better for both of us. so so yeah, if this time doesn't work for you for whatever reason, if a lot of you reflect that you prefer the previous time, then I may also change my mind. So I'm still learning. I'm still like learning which is the best for everybody. So for the new people, I would do a little bit introduction again. So I'm Chuck. Who am I? Why am I doing this? I involved in a lot of open source projects. I you know I have been mainly in Python, but not all of them are in Python. So right now I work for Terminus DB. So you can see that it's one of the open source project I put there because Terminus DB is open source and it will be open source forever. So I'm glad to work for open source. That's what I like doing, so which is great. And I also organize a lot of events. You know, before it was like local events or even like some conferences in Europe, but right now the focus is online. So there will be online conferences, and EuroPython is going to be online this year. So it will be in July. There will be a lot of talks that I think conference is a good place to learn Python. I would say that like I learned so much from the people in the community. I would tell you at the end that I have linked to some resources that you can follow up and check it out. And some of them I didn't know about them if you know I didn't know the speaker if I don't go to a conference, and some of them even like talks in a conference. So um yeah, conference is very good way to learn. So if because now everything go online, so I think it's even more accessible to a lot of people. You don't have to plan your travel, which I know that is not convenient for everybody. And so that's about me. And let's go back to Python. So to recap, we do have learned a lot of things in Python. I told you that the first video we installed Python, and then since then we have learned a lot. We have learned all the Python objects. We have integer, float, so these are numbers. Um, str string is actually a bunch of a series of characters. So you can so string is kind of a common concept in a lot of programming language. So it's it could be a sentence, it could be a word. So it's a series of characters, including white space, etc. And funny, even emoji. Yeah. So a list is a sequence of stuff. So it doesn't need to be characters. It could be anything. It could be even be a string. It can be a list of string. It could even be a list of stuff that is a mixed combination of string, float, and int. So dictionary is more slightly more sophisticated than list, because list if you want to, so it's just like a series of things, right? So you only call them by their position, by the index. But a dictionary, you can have a key value pair. So you just store a bunch of stuff, but to find them, you don't go by their position, you go by the key. And a boolean, true or false. I've also spent some time explaining that. Um, so after that, we also need other things to make our Python program work. It is like it's the flows of a program. So a program, if you don't do anything, it will go in Python, especially. I know there's some programming language that they are async, which they don't do things, one after another necessarily. But in Python, if you use the default, if you don't do the things that that you change the setting, or if you don't do any special things, then Python will just like go from top to bottom, like you know. But sometimes it's not something that we want. We want Python to maybe, let's say, do this if this is the case. If not, do this. So you can branch things out. So this is if else. For loop, you do things again and again. So instead of writing it like 10 times or a million times, you can tell Python to do this again and again. While loop is a similar thing, but instead of counting, how many times you do it, or how many, you have a list of things, you exhaust that, and then you stop. Instead of that, you don't know how many times you do or how long you're gonna do it. You just check if this is true, then just keep doing it. Like do it until this is false. So that's the flow controls. And so last week we learned functions and modules. So sometimes is there's benefit of wrapping things up in functions. So functions take an input, do some calculation, or program. It's like a mini program itself, right? It runs some code, and it will return a result for you. So in this sense, you can kind of have building blocks to write your program. So you have different functions that take different inputs and give a different output accordingly, and then you can combine those to make a bigger program. And module is that you have, you write, there it just means that you put some other, code in another Python, file into this file. So the simplest case is that you write some code in one file. You can see last week we do a demonstration. We write some code in one file, and then we put that in another file. So So yeah, you just like import it into the other one. So that's the simplest case. But usually what happens is that there are scripts that is kind of packaged. For example, some of them is come with your standard Python install. So some of them we call them standard library because it's like you buy a toy, it come with the battery, so it's like it come with it, so you can just import it. And or you can download extras, you can buy some add-ons, you can, but instead of like going to a shop and buy some add-ons, you just you use pip to install. Pip, we could also talk about pip maybe in another tutorial. So pip install and a new library that you could there are some, of course, come with this library other Python scripts that you could put into your program. So that's what we have done in the past. So from this point, any questions? And yeah, let me know. Then I would know if there's any questions, or you can just say hi to me. And yeah, I know some of you may be watching it with your phone, then it's difficult to type in the chat. But yeah, but if you have any questions, you feel free to switch it to your computer and use the chat there, take advantage. While I'm here, I can answer your questions. And if I explain things, today we talk about class, if I explain things not clear enough or have any questions, let me know. I could pause, we have time. I could explain a little bit better, because otherwise I don't know whether like my explanation is good. So um, I would take a sip of coffee and then so you can have some time. Mm. Okay, so I'll just move on, but feel free to raise any questions in any time. Today we're going to talk about classes. So classes is one step forward from function. So so I looked it up on the official documentation in Python. So the link is docs.python.org. So it says that creating a new class create a new type of object, allowing new instances of that type to be made. What does that mean? Remember, we learned some objects before. We have int, float, string, those that I talked about like a few minutes ago. And actually, they all have a class. They're all type of instance. For example, if I have an integer, let's say 10. Now 10 is an integer. So if you type, use type and then int, type and then 10, then you would get int, right? So int is a is the is a class, uh, is a class itself first of all, an object that that belongs to. So 10 is an object that is is an int, so it belongs to the class int. And so all these, 10, 11, 12, all these are instances or of that type of class. So we are going a little bit abstract here now. So I think I can explain a little bit when we switch to when we go to our coding environment, then we will see it a little bit better. And so also classes is a common concept in object-oriented programming. So Python classes provide a way that you could do object-oriented programming. So for example, if you started, I remember I had a discussion with my friend that oh, is Python object-oriented? Well, like I may be wrong, right? But in my understanding, object-oriented programming is a program that's as a language to design that for example, like say Java. Java is a object-oriented programming language, so it's designed to code in a style called object-oriented programming. So with Python, you can do object-oriented programming because classes provide a mean to do it, and and so and also under the hood, a lot of these Python objects actually their design is according to this object-oriented programming. Even though when you use Python in our previous classes, we just run the script like line by line, so we don't code in the style of object-oriented programming. So that's why when people, if they don't do a lot of Python, they may think that oh, it's not, because you can just do things not in the style of object-oriented programming. Versus which is in Java or C++, everything needs to be when you code in Java or code in C++, you have the code in a style of object-oriented programming. But Python is not, even though it got under the hood, a lot of the objects that it created is based on this. So like, int is an object. Like somebody said that everything in Python is an object, which you will know why in a bit. But yeah, like so if there's somebody code in Python, you doesn't need to code in a style of object-oriented programming, but you can, because it's built in Python. You can do that. So it's a bit like a funny terminology things that I still don't know the correct answer as of now, but that's my understanding. And also, Python also has some other things built in that is in the style of functional programming. So that's so Python actually like is difficult to fall into like either one of these category, because Python is just like a programming language that lets you do a lot of things. It's very flexible, and it's so you can do functional programming, and also you can do object-oriented programming. So yeah, it's difficult to classify it, and even like something like JavaScript, they like also have, when it evolved, it now also have some like a functional programming like characteristic in it. So I won't go into detail, but it's like in the computer science world, like it's a lot of this terminology of like how you do stuff. There's a different style. It's a little bit artistic, is it? Like it's like you paint something. You paint the style of classic, or paint a style of like let's say Van Gogh, or Impressionist, and so yeah, so in programming you can have different style of programming as well. So today we got to talk about class, which is a key tool if you do object-oriented programming. So we have an example here. So let's go to our coding ground. So yeah, you see that I have my IDE here, and this is the homework, and we are not doing the homework yet. So so example, we can have a new file. So how about we start a new file? Yeah. So this is demo. I always have a playground called demo, so I can do stuff. So okay, so now you should see my code. Let me make it bigger. Maybe that's better for you. Right. I hope this is easier for you to see. So so this is a typical class, and it's syntactically you just type class and then space. So this is one space, not a tab, not anything funny. So it's just a space, class space. You give a name of it. So the convention in Python to name a class is to use a capital. So it's like is it equivalent to camel case? I'm bad with terminology and stuff. Like people may shout at me and correct me, but it's fine. It's like, so what it is, it means that it's capitalized, and then let's say basket object. So you like kind of, and then the other word, instead of, remember when we do variable, we do like, we would do things like underscore and then small case like this. No, because this is a class, we do things differently to indicate that it is a class. So it's a convention. It's not necessary. It will still run, but you may trick your colleague or trick yourself in the future that you forget that this is a class. You can check your code to see, but what if you just follow the convention, and then in the future when you look at it, you know that it's a class. So I won't call it basket object, or I can just, yeah, why not? Okay. Um, so in most classes, it will have an init function. So this is underscore underscore. This is two underscore here. We call that thunder. It's a funny name. I kind of like the word thunder. It's like it's combining double and an underscore. Like thunder is like funny to say. So underscore underscore thunder, init thunder. So this is standard. Um, so and then usually you would pass self init, because the chances are you do stuff in init that you would need to refer back to self, and I don't think you may have an error if you don't have self. So for this method, I know that if you don't put self as the first argument, you will have an error. But init, I'm not so sure. How about we try? We try to break it, learn it by breaking it. So let's save this and run this in our terminal. So we have let's see if it's here. We're not in the right place. So examples. Yeah, so now we have demo. So let's run Python demo, and it runs. It's fine. I didn't yeah, I didn't do anything yet, so it's fine. It's nothing that's correct. What if I remove this cell? Let's see if we can still run it fine. Yeah, because we haven't called it, so it may also like barely pass. So let's do something like my basket equals to basket object. And so this is how you create an instance of that class. So remember, remember the official definition, right? So this basket object is a class, so it can create new instance. Um, so how you do it is just like, you know, assign it to a variable. So this one basket will become a new instance that belongs to the class basket object. So when you create a new instance, this dunder init function will get called. So that's why, like, if I want to see if this is correct or not, I can test it like this. So let's run the original one to see if it's fine. So it's fine, and actually we can print. Sorry, I'm like doing it on the go. So print my basket and to see what it is, right? So let's see, and let's try it again. So yeah, you can see that now. If I print my basket, we see that it's a, a is an object that belongs to the basket object. So it's an instance of the basket object, right? Hello, hello, Dam, Dam, yeah, and oh, Python Island, yay! Don't think it will run. Yes, let's try whether that will run. We've moved the cell. So this is something that I do a lot. Like when I write something, I forgot, and I will forget to put the cell here, And what will happen? Let's see. Yes, it will give you an error. It says that, init is expecting, uh, you know, it's expecting one argument actually. So this is very interesting. You see that it's complaining that, it doesn't have anything, but one was given. But wait a second, we doesn't put anything here. Why there's one that is given? Like, right, for example, if I put like 1 to 3 here, then you see the error message change slightly. Yeah, 2 was given. So, but I only put one thing here. I only put 1 to 3. Why there's 2 given? Why I don't have it? It still say there's 1. The thing is, when you create an instance, it will pass something in the dunder init function. So that's why we have to have self. So this thing that got passed into the dunder init is actually the instance itself. And so that's why we need to have the self here. And every time when we call the call this, we would have self. So let's say let's change this up a little bit. So let's comment this out, and then now I do my basket dot add item. Yep. It could be apple. I don't know. Let's see. So without the self, does it work? Well, obviously this is wrong, right? Because self is not, it's nothing here. I don't have it. So this obviously will give an error because I don't have self. It will complain that I don't have self. So what if? Okay, now I just print the item. Is it okay? It's gotta be fine. So any guess? Want to give it another go? So let's have a look, shall we? So yep, it again it's the same problem, It's fine. It's fine. I'm not sure as well, so that's good that we test it out now together. So you can see that, it is the same problem. It says that, 2 are given, but I only put apple. So all these functions that's under this class, actually there's a unconventional convention. No, it's a hidden convention that the itself will be the first argument. So you have to put self here. Well, if you want to be, if you want to if you want to be funny, you can like type this. I think this will work, because yes, always the first, when it's a method. Actually, this is a method in a class. You have to put self, because when you do my basket dot, basically my basket will be the first argument. So yeah, you have to have self. But now I'm testing whether I can use this as this, because in JavaScript it's this to refer to itself. So whether I can use this. So let's try that. I love trying things. I love breaking things. And it's fine. So you can, if you don't like self, you can use this, but don't do that. Don't do that. Like, I know that it's very tempting. Yes, Java also used this. I think, yeah, but no, please don't. This will really be confusing, because you may share your code with your colleague, or you may upload to GitHub. This really confuses people. This will be like, people, first of all, they will be confused, like, uh, does this is like this in JavaScript or Java? I'm writing Python though. I'm expecting self. So what are you doing? So please stick to self. You may not like it, but if you are working with Python, you're working with Python people, use self. You would, or maybe in the future you see other people's code, you're so used to use self, and then you forget about it, and you'll be like, why did I do that? You'll be like, why like me last year did that? It's horrible. So yeah, use self. And yeah, like, it is so funny, because I was again, like, because I told you I work for Terminus DB, and one of the things is, like, we have JavaScript client and a Python client, so sometimes I have to translate, from JavaScript to Python, and like I have to change all of this to self. I'm like so tempted to just like change it into this, but I won't, because like we are open source. We want people to see our code, and I don't want to. I don't want to confuse people, so I have to change them all into self. Right. So at item. So at item is a method. So actually, let's do this. Let's print my basket. So let's actually it's in the other slide. So I need to go with what I planned, not to be ad lib too much. So right, we create an instance. We already did it. Create my basket. Um, let's have a look at dir my basket. So what is that? So instead of print my basket, let's print dir my basket. So what's that? Right. So let's run this again. It should be fine now. Right. So you see that there's a bunch of stuff. So dir got a bunch of stuff. And something to note is that we have add item here at the end, and we have content at the end. So we should also have the init somewhere, but I didn't see it. Now that's funny. Yeah, yeah, like, am I seeing things? But okay, anyway, we have add item. So this is so easy to spot, because it doesn't start with an underscore. So add item and content are there. So actually, like, I really think this are you still seeing it okay, or is it too small? Yeah, let me, like, sorry about that. Let me do it again with yeah, I think this is easier to see. Let's see if I can, yeah, maybe I'll make it bigger. I hope that this doesn't break the thing. Sorry, it's yeah. Okay, you can see it a little bit better, I hope. And you can see that actually, if I move this a little bit around. So sorry about that. The setup is not the perfect one, because I forgot that I have to show this bit out. So it's okay. So you see that we have at item here. I highlighted it for you to see, and we have content. So these two actually are the how can I say, like, they are um an an object, or a method. Actually, like, yeah, they are an object that belongs to this instance. Yeah, so they are an object belongs to an instance. So we have an instance, my basket, which is a type of basket object, right? And within this, so this is very like the knowledge graph. Like, by the way, Terminus DB is a knowledge graph. So this is very similar because everything is object, and then we have some object properties, and so we have the object, which is my basket, and underneath we have a other things, a lot of objects, but two that we know. Oh, the init is here. Sorry, now I've spotted. So the two that we kind of we know, we spot that is add item and content. So these two are the two other objects that belongs to this my basket object. So these two actually, like add item, we call that method object because it's a method. So method, what is method? Method is, you can think it as a function that belongs to an object. We call that method. We just changed the name. We call that method because this is what is called in other object-oriented programming language like Java. And constant, sometimes we call that an attribute, but or a property. Property is a common one in common name for the one in a object-oriented programming language. Function and a method. That's a good question. For now, even nowadays, I interchange to use the to use the name quite badly. In Python, actually you can make a method equals to a function. So I would show that afterwards. Actually, you can you can actually okay. Let's do an experiment. I will show it to you now. So before that, I want to show you another thing first. Sorry, so many things. So we try to type, right? So how about we check the integer and to compare. So dir 123. So 123 is an integer. You can see it's orange. And so let's see what's the difference between an integer, dir of an integer, and a dir of a basket object. So run it again. So integer got a lot more things, and but you can see that there's no add item and no content at the end. You see, like they're gone. They're not here. So so you can see that those are the ones that we created. We customize for our basket object. But some of them you can also see that in both. For example, like I think DICT is DIR. Because like we are calling DIR on both of them, so it should exist. And what are the others? I think there are. Is there any init for the I can't find it though. Like docs, for example, docs are the same. So some of them are the default. So all the objects they would have that, but not like so. Yeah. So you see that some of them they have the same because they actually are inherit from. So I'm not going to talk about inheritance in this because like it will take another hour. But yeah, so some of these common ones actually they are inherit from the object itself, so they share the same. So they are all the objects will have it, no matter what. Yeah. So example, star is a stir, str. So they like both of them, so they are the common ones. But some of them are not the common ones, so they are the ones specific to that object type. Okay. So go back to the function and method thing. So how about I do it like this? I want this to be a function rather than a method, so I put it here at item, right? So now we don't have cells. So okay, so these may not work because we need to have the cell, right? So because we need to take the first thing as an instance, so you can't do it like this. But okay, in my concept, like in what I understand, that they both act the same, function and method. The difference is that you can see the method, we have the self, because it belongs to this class, and when it's created, it's an object under an instant. So it will take an instance the first argument, because you can't just use add item. You need to use my basket.addItem. So this one will give you an error this time. Yeah, because it's not defined, because it only exists with an object. So that's the only difference I would say that I know. There may be other more low level difference, and I that for that level, I can't explain. You may have to ask a core developer, like who knows the Python internals. But yeah, but like it's like it just act the same. It's just like sit on a different scope, on different level. So I will talk about scope a little bit later. Right. So so that's yeah, you got the attribute and the methods that bind together. So my basket got all these things. So remember dir basket? So it's got a bit messy right now. So let's clear it up and let's go back to my basket. Yeah, so it's all these, so like I said, like, all these underscores, some of them are inherit from the object, some of them are specific to that class because, it's a class object, it's something that we custom made, so it also got some defaults for you, but, and we also got some, so these are actually like some method objects as well. For example, dir, we use it because like it's a method object, and and actually you can see that my basket. Oh, I can't do it here. Sorry. Let's say like I don't do dir. I do my basket dot underscore underscore dir, right? So what is this? So tell me what is this. So this is yeah. So it's a built-in method. So all these underscores are like actually methods. It could be an attribute as well. It could be like content, but we can't tell just by the name. But most of them are actually built-in method. So my basket is all these methods and attribute that bind together. So all these belongs to this my basket object. So I hope this makes sense. I know it's so difficult to explain it, and but we can go a little bit deeper. We can first of all go into the scope. I think I talked about scope last week when we talked about function, but let's have a better look at it. Um, so this is that something that I copied from the official documentation because they have such a good example, and I don't want like rather copy than using my own. So right, so this one, what is this? So this is not a class actually, but and I don't know why the indentation is strange. Okay, so this is not a class actually, but it's a function within a function. So one thing to notice is that you have these keywords, non-local and global. So you can see that they play around with the scope a little bit here. So I have a spam, that's a test spam. So this is something that sitting. We say that it's sitting at a global scope. So it's a it's already a hint that something to do with global. And then you do local, so you call this do local function. This time you can just directly call it because it's just a function within a function. Is so the scope, think of scope like boxes. So outside there's a big box called global, and then inside we have a box called scope test. And then inside this scope test we have three boxes: do local, do non-local, and do global. So the general rule is that outside can look inside, inside cannot look outside. So that's why we have these non-local and global stuff hanging there, uh, because the default is that I say that like the default is outside can look in, inside can look out. That's the default. But what if you write the program you want inside to be able to look outside? Then these two, non-local and global, provide a mean for you to do that, right? So this time you can call do local because you are now at global. You're looking inside. You look inside scope test and inside do local. It's okay. You can do that. You can call it. No problem this one. Because, compared to what we did in the past code, past example, that's, that was a class. So it's bind to a class. So you have to call the instance. This time, no, it's not a class. It's just a function. Remember def, just a function. So it's fine. So now so we want to see after local argument what would be the spam. So because this one I do local and I changed this spam, I don't know, I won't spoil it. So some spam, it could be anything. Um, is become a local spam. So is this spam like a local spam, or is this spam same as this spam? We will see. If it's this same as this, right? So we would see that it got, it will change here. If do local changed the global spam, we will see this change to local spam. Okay. So and a second, so actually I would do the test one by one. So I would comment this out. And now you see, let's see if this got changed. So let's do demo. Oop, non-local. The indentation is weird. No binding for. Oh, okay. So I think because I comment something out, then it's not right. Yeah, no binding for non-local spam. Yeah, I haven't. I think I haven't run the script all at once, so it's complaining. How about I also. Yeah, this is better. Just take away all the stuff that we don't care for now. We only like do this to see if this is changing this one, right? Okay. So yeah. So what happened is that it say that it's, there's nothing there. It's not defining anything. So because it's not defined. Why? Oh, okay. Sorry. I know I did something wrong. Sorry about that. It's inside here. So it's inside scope test. Sorry. I totally did something wrong. I misunderstand my code. Sorry. My bad. Okay. Let's try again. Let's try to explain again. So actually these are inside, and all these indentation are fooling me. Sorry about that. So actually this code is inside scope test. Yeah. Yeah, you are partially right, but these two are outside. So kind of, yeah, you see the problem. Um, that's, yeah. So this is actually inside. So inside scope test we have a spam called test spam, and then we do local. We call this. So yeah, so you have to, yeah. So it's only see one leveled in. Sorry about that. So yeah, you only see this one here because it's defined here. So you can actually like yeah, this is like a program itself, right? So you can put this into another Python program and run it. Um, so this one, do local can look one level in and look at this, and so it could run. So do local exists in this scope test, so it exists here. So we have the spam, we have the do local within this scope test, and then so after calling the local argument, so we see whether this test spam has been changed. So like I said, I want to do things one by one. So this time we do it like this. I think you can do a Control K to do that. Is it Command K, or no? You can't. That's Jupyter Notebook. Sorry. Yeah. And yeah. So okay. So now we run scope test. Run this code within scope test to see whether this one changed. Okay. So let's run it. So this time it should run without an error. Okay. This time it showed me something, right? It showed me that I haven't saved. Sorry about that. It's not what I want. Okay. Now it's confusing. Okay. Oop. Right. Okay. So now it said after local argument is test spam. So it hasn't been changed. So what happened is that this spam, the local spam. So this one actually is a local variable that sit inside do local. So that's actually now in this code. There's two spam. One is belongs to the scope test, and one belongs to the scope test do local's spam. So this is in two levels. So there are two different things. So because then if I change the one that is in do local, it won't change the one outside. Okay. So what if I do a non-local? So I do non-local, right? So do non-local. The difference is that I use non-local to this spam. So um, so what change does it make? So let's run this and see what happened. And I haven't saved again. Sorry about that. Yeah. Right. So now after the non-local argument, it becomes non-local spam because this non-local means that okay, this spam actually I don't mean spam to be something in like that is local. Please go up one level and look for me. Do you find any spam, please? So what happened with like because Python may see non-local, so it's like oh, there is actually a non-local variable called spam. I have to look for it. So it go up one level to scope test and then found that oh, it's this test spam. So okay, this spam means this spam. So now after running non-local, then it will become non-local spam, right? Command plus slash. I don't know. I haven't tried. Let's try that. Oh, okay. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, I haven't really looked up like how to do that. That's very handy. Yeah, because I know that in Jupyter Notebook it's like Command K, and yeah, I haven't looked up the one for Atom. So that's good to know. Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been using it for so long, but I'm too lazy to look up all these hotkeys. Um, right. So do local, do global. So what's the difference between do global and I will use your hotkey now. Okay, so what the difference between do local and do global? Um, so do non-local is that okay, it's not local, so please go up one level and look it up for me. It doesn't go all the way to global, but if you put global, it means that okay, now this spam is the king. Now this spam is sitting here at this global thing. So if I have a let's see spam equals to and global spam. No, global spam is the same, right? So it's like spam, right? So now if I change it to print spam, so before and after, right? So now we have a before. So this is before, up, before anything, right? Um, so this global, if I'm correct, it should refer to this global one. So yeah, so after running it, then it should be, changing that one. So let's see what happened. I I'm not so sure. So um okay, yeah. So now before everything, these global spam is this spam, and then these two are the same, right? So these two global and local and non-local are the same. And when I run global, because I changed it to global spam, so within the scope test is within the scope test it become a global spam. But in global scope, it also become a global spam. So you see this. Oh no, sorry. Like global, yeah, the global is this one. So it doesn't change this one now. Sorry, it doesn't change the one here now. So it's still non-local. So now we have how many spam we have? We have 3 spam in total. So we have the global spam here. We have the scope test spam, which is this one, and we have a do local spam. So this one. So do local spam is local spam because it's created here. And scope test, it was test spam, but after running non-local spam, it become a non-local spam. And after do global, it remains non-local spam because global, this spam now refers to this one. So this one actually changed the spam into the global spam. Does that make sense? Is it too confusing? No. I know it's like difficult to explain. Even like I was a bit like confused sometimes. So I hope this makes sense. So this one actually like so if we make that clear, we don't put ourselves in a loophole. So this is global. So let's say spam 0. So this actually is not spam 0. It's spam 3. This is spam 2. This is spam 1. This is spam 2. So 0, 1, 2, right? And this one, because it's non-local, So actually, what this one refer to is spam1. So this is spam1, and global. This one refer to the global. So this is spam0, right? So if you code like code them with the number, it should be this one, then this one. And after calling local assignment, this is all one, right? So this is all inside here. Okay, so this is the version that doesn't use the same name. So this should be exactly the same. Yeah, this is exactly the same without the confusion of using the same name. This is what it actually means. So I will pause for a bit because this is quite confusing. So fire any questions, if any. I hope this makes sense. Non-local is looking up one level. So because non-local, I call it here non-local. So it means that this spam, if I use the same name again, so it shouldn't be it shouldn't be creating another one. Otherwise, it would do the same thing as do local, create a new one here. So non-local say that this spam that I had before doesn't refer to is not a local variable. It's supposed to exist somewhere outside one layer. Please look it up for me. If you can't look it up, there's an error. So let's test something. Let's go back to where we were. So let's go back to all this all call spam. So let's try this out. Let's try. Actually, I want to only do the non-local. So this one I can comment it out, and this one I can comment it out. And okay, so this one, right? So this is spam. All these are called spam, right? And what I want to do is that I want to remove this non-local. Oh no, actually what I want to do, because this non-local is supposed to look for the spam in scope test, right? So if I remove this one, oh, sorry, what happened? Okay, sorry about that. So okay, yeah, wrong button. Because you know that in Mac I have to option 3 to have the hash, and then it's next to command, so sometimes I'm confused. Okay, so now there is no spam in the scope test. So what would happen like this? Does it create a new one? Does it give me an error? So let's try. Yep, so now it gives me an error. So let me run that again so you can see better. Oh, okay. So now you have an error because, like I said, if you use non-local means that this spam doesn't mean it's supposed to be not a local variable. It should exist somewhere one layer outside. Please look it up for me. So it go one layer outside and it looks, oh, it doesn't have any spam. You have an error. So it gives me an error message. So this is needed because this means that I expect a spam in the scope test. So this is required. So does that make sense to you? Yeah. Let me know if it's still not clear. I can explain. Can we write something like non-local spam equal to full? First of all, this is I haven't tried that, so let's try that out. So yeah. So okay, so let's say we don't have the spam. Does this create a spam for me? So let's try. Yep, so you can't do it like this. So it's not a valid syntax. So you can't. So what you really have to do is that you have to define a spam in the non-local, because yeah, you can't just create it outside. But I do think that yeah, you can't do it like this. But I do think global may work. Let's try global as well. So uh, without this one, actually global could work that way. So now I don't have anything in global. I don't have any spam in global. So I don't have any spam in global. So we don't have this. And let me change this back to spam. So now it's all spam. Okay. So this time I would only do. Oop, yeah. Like I said, I'm confused by all these hotkeys. That's why I don't use them so much. Okay. So now let's just do global. So this is the similar situation that Thorn do self that you suggest, right? So we don't have any before non-local, when we don't have spam in the scope test, it will give me an error. But now let's also remove this as well. So all we have is all these functions. That these two actually doesn't matter, so remove them to be less confusing. So I only have a do global that will, okay, I want to find spam in the local. Will this one work, right? So let's try. Let's try. So actually I will only run the, because this one will give me an error, right? I don't have a spam here, so let's put that. Oops. I pressed the wrong button again. Sorry. Okay. So okay, let's run this to see if this works, right? So, oh, why is still complaining that on local? Because I haven't saved. Sorry about that. Why I forget to save all the time today. Okay. So yeah, so this again, like this would give us an error that we don't have spam. So this one won't work because it doesn't have the spam. But let's try this. Let's comment this out and print spam. So let's try this one instead. This one do work. Strange. Oh, because sorry, I know why. Sorry about that. I am just like making myself a fool because I commented this out. Yeah. So now I can remove this one. Right. Yeah. So now this one actually it won't print. And sorry about that. So now. Yeah. Now actually this one do work. Strangely, this one do work. I don't have any spam. You make a global spam, but you see that this one doesn't give us an error. It does give us a global spam for this one. So what happened is that it, it can't find a global spam outside. So it just assumed that, okay, I will make a spam and I'll put it accessible from outside. So this is super strange. This is super strange. And this one should also work outside. I don't know why. It's Python is getting super strange right now. So yeah. Yeah, now it works. That we have. So what happened is that different from non-local. Remember non-local, when we don't have the local, when we don't have the spam in scope test, it will just give me an error, right? So I can't find spam. What do you mean by non-local spam? But if we call global spam, so what happened is that, oh, I want a spam in the local. So okay, Python, okay, go to global, and then Python was like, oh, spam is not global. I can't find spam here. Okay, what do you want? Okay, you want spam to be global spam? Yeah, but this is not weird because it's actually we can take advantage of global because of that. So I will explain in a bit. So yeah, so I can't find global. What do you mean? What do you want? So I say, okay, actually I want a global spam. I want a global variable spam. So Python's like, okay, fine, I'll make you a global variable. So the difference between non-local and global is that non-local is that you tell Python that I have this variable that is supposed to be somewhere outside. Don't create a new one locally for me. Grab that non-local one for me, please. So okay, if Python can't find it, Python will be like, hey, no, I can't find it. There's an error. Fix it, please. So, but global is different. Global means that, hey, Python, this spam is a global variable. So Python is like, fine. Look in the global variable. It's like, okay, fine. It's not there. I would make you a new one. So the difference is that global, it doesn't need to be the variable doesn't need to be defined before in a global scope. It would just create a new one. So it's good to know. It's good that we have played this to the depth of it. We have do a lot of experiment. It's a bit confusing. I was a bit surprised by it. I do know that global you can do it this way. You can assign a global, without having it exist in the first place. But non-local you can't. Non-local you can't. Um, It's not just a get. It's also, you can also, you can also set the difference, right? Remember we changed the spam, the non-local spam, right? So it's not just a getter. It's not just get, but it need to exist in the same place. In the first place, it need to exist before. It won't create a new variable, but global it will create a new variable. You can think of it like this. Um, yeah, you can also make changes if the non-local variable is found, but you can't create a new one. Um, yeah, I know it's strange, and I wish I could explain better, but it's just let me fix this file. I have accidentally changed it. I may not need it though, but you know what? I just close it without saving. Okay, so that's scope. I know it's super complicated, and to this day I'm still like surprised by lots of things. Yeah, good. And so I would also refer to like some other materials at the end. So maybe you will find some good explanation somewhere else that I point you to. But okay, so this is scope. And okay, go back to classes, and we gotta before we only show a basic example, right? So we do a little bit more things about the classes and do more experiments. So go back to this script. I have a copy of it, so copy. So this one is slightly different. So you see that before we have the self and we have the self content, right? So let's go back. You'll see the difference. Oop, okay. So yeah, you see that before we have the self dot content equals to. So but this one we put the content here. So it's a sign of like something weird will happen, right? So why do I do it like this? Okay, so let's save this. Remember to save. So in it, basically, when you create an instance, it does nothing. It just passed. So I think I said it like last week that when you have a function that you want to save, just save this function name for future. They just do pass, so it does nothing. If you don't put pass here, you will have an error. So if you kind of, I want to do it in the future, just keep the space for me for now, then type pass. Okay, so add item is the same. So this time we create my basket and your basket. So I add a toilet paper in my basket because I need toilet paper. And print out my basket. I'm expecting a toilet paper. And you buy coffee bean because you like coffee. So let's see what happened. Okay, so let's clear this out first. It's a bit a mess. Okay. So, oh, wait a second. It's fine for you. You have a toilet paper, but when I add my coffee bean, why this like well, I only want coffee bean. I don't want toilet paper. So what happened? And the problem is this content. I put it here, so it actually belongs to remember. Um, this my basket and your basket are two instances from this class, and I create a the content which is like in the class. So even though these are actually class variables. So let's see if I can dig out some. Oh, I forgot that I can't do it there. Let's dig out some funny things. So let's do a dir. Oh, I can't type. Okay, dir my basket. This is so much fun of like messing around with stuff. Okay, you see these are all these stuff. So I still have content, but this content is instead of you have created a different content that bind with your instance, it bind with the class of that instance. So that's why my basket and your basket are sharing the same content here. And this is something you have to be very careful. There are some cases that you may want to share some things in class. I think the tutorial that Naomi gave last Friday, I would give you the link at the end. She gave a better explanation of class method. Is slightly more advanced. She talked about class method and stat method, things like that. That um, uses function methods and things that define in the classes level But for this class, this is something that we avoid. For now, the level that we're at, using things like this will make things complicated because you are sharing stuff that you actually doesn't mean to. So what I would do is to do the old way, do it the way that we did before. So content is supposed to be bind to self, bind to the instance. So content. So this is what we did before. So this time, our basket shouldn't be mixing up together. So and remove the dir. I don't need that anymore. Thank you. So save and run. Let's clear it first. Sorry, too much mess. Yeah. So this time, my basket is toilet paper. Your basket is coffee bean. We are all safe. Um, so yeah, I just want to point that out because that's something that you may not notice. Um, so and um, so these two instances they have the same class, but they are two different instances. So yeah, that's something that you need to be careful. So that's that. And what else we can have fun with? Let's see. Oops, sorry, my slides are not at the right place. Okay. Yep. So yeah. So let's develop this code a little bit. So what if, like, I buy multiple stuff? I don't want to call add item, like my basket dot add item, my basket dot add item. This is a bit stupid. Oh, you have to go. It's all right. I'll see you next week. Bye bye. And yeah, so I don't want to call it every time. Is a bit stupid. My basket dot add item toilet paper, my basket dot add item oranges. No, I don't want that. So what I can do is that I could have a df. Oh, because I used two spaces. That's a big no. I want to fix it. Sorry, OCD is getting me. Yeah, yeah, four space is much better. I feel comfortable now. Okay, add items. So I want to add multiple items. So what should I do? So first thing first, self. This is a standard, so it's a no-brainer. Self. Okay, and now I want multiple items, so I need multiple arguments, but I don't know how many. You can put, you know, like everything in it. You can have magazine, oranges, toilet paper, I don't know, dishwasher, many things. So um, I would make it an argument. So you remember how we did it? Star, arc. So right. So now I have a list of arguments that following self. So I can add them one by one here. So I have a for loop for item in arcs. Then I will just add them. So I want to add item, but can you see there's a problem here? Because remember in here I don't have add item, and this one is actually so this one actually is bind to an instant. So when I call an add item, I have to call self dot add item instead, because add item is bind to the instant, and the instant is myself, right? Okay, I hope this makes sense. And now I can add the items in it one by one. And that's it. They should add multiple things. Okay. And right, so what I gotta do is that instead of buying just toilet paper, I want to buy toilet paper, oranges, and magazine. Yeah, let's add three things to see if it works. So I don't care about your basket right now, sorry. It's just me buying my stuff. Right, okay. So let's try. Let's try. Yep, now we call add items one by one. So I call add items, and it will add item, call add item one by one to add it in. So you can call another function, but yeah, remember it's an instance. So that it's bind to an instance. So you have to call self, so call the instance, which is self dot add item. Right. So this is this one. I want to point that out. And yeah, this is the same script, right? Just put it there for you to reference. And also, well, you can make aliases. So let's say like so you want to give this code to your friend, and your friend say like, actually, you know what? I want to have a function called add multiple multi items, so I don't get messed up because I sometimes forget the s, so I don't like the how you name the functions because the s is not obvious. So okay, well I can fix it for you, like, but in my code I use items, so if I change the name here, like then I mess up my code. I don't want that. I want both to be working. So instead of just like copy and paste, you can do that as well. But no, I can have a better method. I just have um, self dot you know I could have self dot add item. Uh, what do you want, right? I sort of forgot, like multi. Yeah, multi items. Yeah, equals to self dot add items. Then it should be the same thing, right? So let's try that. Let's try if multi-item worked. Yep. So oops, not this one. Keep pressing the wrong button. Oops, there's some error. Self not this one. Oh, sorry about that. Do believe is yeah. I think I should probably put it here. Sorry about that. Yeah, because like I don't have self in basket, right? So it's a mistake. And yeah, now it works. So I just put in init that when I init it, just make aliases of add items. So yeah, so this is how you make aliases. So you don't have to, if you want people to call these two functions and they both do the same thing, you can make aliases by here. So yeah, right. So I think we have been an hour, more than an hour already. So this code is not correct, right? So sorry about that. I would fix that because yeah, again, like I prepared like last night. I was not very, I was so tired. I run actually yesterday I ran a workshop of for data science, so super tired. So I made this mistake. Sorry, it should be put inside init. Sorry about that. I will fix that. And yeah, so private variable. So this is, I think this is the last thing that I gotta tell you for today. So so sometimes you write something that you don't want people outside to see. So let's say like I don't want people to add use add item because people should always use either add multi items or add items. It should add item is only for myself to call. It's only used in here. It shouldn't be used outside. So you can put an underscore there. This is just a convention. You can still, in theory, you can still use it here, right? So let's try that. So yeah, so you can still use it here. It's fine. You put underscore like before. It's a private method, but if I know your secret, I could still call it. So let's try. Um, okay, so yep, it still works. It may not be very clear, so let me clean up and do it. Okay, so yeah, it still works. Um, but when you let's say if you write an open source program that's is kind of understand by the community that if you put underscore in front, it's supposed to be it's not a public API, so people write their code shouldn't be called that. So you may have a documentation for all of these, right? So for example, I put documentation here, remember how to write docstring, right? So this function, this method, add items to the content, right? So, but this one, well, it's always good to put documentation so you would remember in future, but um, it's like it's not for public to see. So if the public, when somebody, oh, why, I don't know what at item do, but there's an underscore in front, it's not supposed for you to use, so why do you care, right? So so it's just a convention. It's just uh, the society should understand these kind of a way of communicating, that like, is it public, is it private, and things like that. So it's good to know. So when you see somebody's code, then you kind of know why there's an underscore in front. So what if I really care about people using add items outside? I want to lock it so nobody would call add item accidentally, right? Even the underscore is not good enough. I want to lock it really. Like, even people know that I have the add items, people shouldn't use it and they can't use it. So I can put double underscore. So the thunder again. So you can put thunder there. And let's try with the thunder. And now you have an error. Thunder doesn't work. So now you have lock this to be only able to use inside. So but this one should, well, this one is fine, right? So it's like calling itself. So now you see that if I call outside, it gives me an error. So what if I being a good user, I won't I won't make you angry. I will use add items instead. So now can I call thunder add item in my other thing? So this is private, right? So this is my function, and this is my function and locked. So can I use my locked other function? So let's run this. Now it works. So thunder is only available within the same class. It can't be used outside of the class. So that's why you see all these built-in method that they have they're using thunder, because you are not supposed to call init. Init is called when you create an instance. So you can't do things like, right? So this is a big no-no, like what you're doing here. This is horrible, right? Yeah, well, you can still use it. I mean, this one allow you to use it, but you shouldn't be calling it, because it's just a mess. So this one lets you call it, but if you want to lock something, you can put an underscore there, double underscore there, and yeah. So this one won't work because it's done there. Okay, so it's locked. So when you see the function name is being funny, it may mean something. It may mean that it's private, and you shouldn't use it. Either they're just being nice, like, okay, if you really know what you're doing, you can use it, but we don't suggest you use it, or you can't really use it. I've locked it in my code. You can't. You have an error. Sorry. So yeah. And so okay, this slice provides. So I hope you grabbed the slice in the beginning. If not, then I would maybe at the end I would go back to the first slide so you still have it. Usually I put a Bitly link for you, but for some reason Bitly stopped working yesterday, so I put the link of these slides. So if you didn't get it, actually the easiest way is to using one underscore on the front. Is just it's just a convention. It's not doing anything special. Yeah, it doesn't really do anything special. It's just like you know, we kind of understand it as a Python lister. We understand underscore is not public. Um, so so the easiest way to find my slides is to go to slides.com slash checking hyphen XO. So you will find all my slides there, and you'll find this one as well. So but I would go back to the first slide, so you can grab this link for this one, or I can put it in the chat afterwards. So stay a bit. I can give you the link. So all these links actually are pointing to some resources that you could get an in-depth tutorial in it. So Naomi gave one that last Friday, no, last week Friday, so it's the previous Friday, about classes and instances. So like I said, it talk about class method, stat method. So it's an in-depth extension of what we talk about today. It's really good, but it expires because she put it on Twitch, or maybe she put it somewhere, but I can't find it. I can only find the Twitch one, and Twitch, like after your stream, after 14 days it expires. So please, if you're interested, go there as soon as you can. We only got like 4 days, so yeah, watch it. Hopefully you can watch it. Another good thing about, that I talk a little bit about inheritance. So this is a more in-depth topic. So it's like a little bit, more advanced topic. That is, this talk is by Michael. It's a talk in Palindinium. So like I said, conferences, they got good talks. They got good speaker, good talks. Michael is a core developer. So I hope you know Naomi. Naomi is also, a very good teacher in Python. She is the chair of the PSF. But Michael, yeah, core developer, also like a very good talk that you should check it out. Naomi also gave another tutorial last Friday, so it's like 2 days ago. It's about iterator and generator. So if you so it's a special type of object. So you use them in for loops a lot. So please, if you're interested, go there. And that was a really really good tutorial. So again, it's on Twitch, so it expires. So if you have time, watch it before it expired. And yeah, because I won't go to those topics like very soon. It's more advanced, so I may visit it in the future if this series continue. But that's if you're comfortable with what I've been taught like till now, you want to go deeper, you can go there and watch. They are amazing like materials. So before we go, let's quickly write a little e-commerce program. So actually, I would based on this one, I would maybe do a little bit change to this, so it won't take too long, I hope. So let's do a save as and save this as eShop.py, right? Okay. Because demo, usually I won't upload it because it's just a playground, but eShop, we gotta keep, and I gotta upload the script. And the link is there. You can find it on my GitHub repo. Okay. So right. So this one, for the e-commerce, what I want to add is actually add an ID and name and maybe the address of the customer, but also keep the content. So this is content is like a shopping cart that the customer is having. So this is okay. And yeah, actually I would use just underscore. Yeah, I don't need to lock it like this, right? So I would also add items, right? This is fine. I'll keep just those. Here now, okay, right. Let's start with this. So when it initializes, I will have an empty basket, empty shopping cart, and this is fine. I just keep it like this. And another thing is that I want to give this customer a customer ID. So what happens, like, I want at the beginning of the program there is actually a database, okay, that actually is a dictionary of all the customers. Okay, so at the beginning this isn't anything. So what I want to do is that when I initialize it, I will pass it the database to it. And what I want to do is that I want to check. I want to give this customer a customer ID that that I can identify it with. So I will self the ID is equal to. So let's say if I have no customers, they will be the 0 customer, and it's 1, there's 1. So I just use the length of the database dot keys. So this show me, so the length this one show me how many customers are there. So just like give the ID of that customer. So if there's no customer right now, it's just 0. So if there's 1, it's 1. It's 0 indexed. Or if I don't want it to be 0 indexed, I can add 1 to it. It's fine. So that's the ID. And also I want to have the name of the customer when the basket is created. So that will be the name of the customer and address. Okay, so I have to create that as well. Name equals to name and self dot address. So this is quite straightforward. And yeah, so okay, so but after that I want to append this instance in the database. So So it would actually stay. So what I gotta do is that because this database is parsed out of here, so this time that if we want to talk to the database, it needs to be global, right? So yeah, we are cheating a little bit because like there's no way we're gonna pass this as a reference to here. But actually, maybe we can do that. Okay, let's try. Database self.id is equals to self. Right. Let's see if this works. I'm just doing something very risky here. I pass in a database because it's a dictionary. It's passed by reference. So in theory, you can make changes to it. So you can put your ID here, and it's calling putting itself as an object into it. So yeah, let's see if that works. So my basket is equals to um, to basket. Yeah, it's fine. And I gotta put the database in it. I have to pass all these things. Name is Chirk, that's me, and address. I gotta make a fake one. 123 Wellington Street, UK, London, UK. I'm based in London. That's not my real address, by the way. I don't know where is 123 Wellington Street. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and let's see if this works first, right? So add item should add an item, and I should yeah. Let's see. Clear. Oop, Python eShop. Yep. Self is not defined, so yep. Spelling mistake. Is this spelling? Yeah. Spelling mistake here. Sorry about that. Yep. Again. Right. So this works. So, but the question is whether I have something in the database. So let's print the database as well. Print. Yep. Yeah, mistypes. Yeah, thank you. You spot faster than me. I'm horrible. Like that's the thing about like live coding or live streaming is that usually your audience spot your mistake faster than you, which is good. I like people helping me out. No one's perfect. So okay, let's look at the basket. The database. Database has one object. So it's working. That I can put myself into the database. And so let's see what is what is the first customer. So database. So the first customer, and give me the name of the first customer for me, please. Okay. So let's try. Yep, the name of the first customer is Chirk. So actually, you can add more. You can add you can add another one. Could be yeah, I won't type it now because like I know that we are very late. We have 1 hour and a half now. So I hope yeah, I hope that is clear. Is kind of this is more closer to what you can do for a small application like and yeah, I hope that this one is a good example. That please feel free to take this code and use it if you're writing something similar. Like all my code on GitHub, feel free to copy it, but have it at your own risk. I have a lot of typo. Um, yeah, make sure that you check whether I'm doing the right thing. But feel free to use it if you want to. Okay, so it's almost the end now. So homework is just that copy this code, take this code, improve that. Can we keep the previous order of the customers? So we may want something here to keep the order. So and how are we gonna save it? How are we gonna retrieve it? And so that's up to you. And I hope this is not too difficult. I think yeah. So I gotta upload this one, not the demo. I gotta upload this, and you won't be able to see that I'm doing this thing, but you see my screen is going crazy because I'm this diff that I don't need to look at. Yeah. Okay. So adding example, right? Okay, so now the script should be there. Once Git has done its thing, right? So yeah, and yeah, I'll leave you with your homework, and let's look at what we're gonna do next week. So thank you so much for staying with me for 1 hour and a half. It's getting longer and longer, and it's because we got too excited. I am really excited as well. I'm really happy that we did lots of experiment, understand classes much better, and so next week same time, 2 p.m. UK time, that we gotta talk about testing in Python. So we gotta actually spoiler talk about PyTest and oh yeah, thank you so much, Python Island. Yeah, I know who you are, and I love you too. And yeah, so we also have Meet Meet Pie. Yeah, so Meet Meet Pie is Wednesday, 1 p.m. So we would, each week we'll interview some guests, some active people in the community, in Python community. They all have very interesting background. So if you're interested in Python, interested in the community, please go to watch Meet Me Pie. It's just like at lunchtime, it's a very, a good entertainment during your lunch break. And we also, interviews, and also we chat about something in Python, the news. Maybe you something that you may be interested, some libraries that we discovered, and yeah, and then the coming Wednesday we will have the organizer of Pi Amsterdam come in, and he is a very nice guy, and we are a good friend of him, and he's very active. He helped organize a lot of conferences, including EuroPython, and of course, he organized Pi Amsterdam as well. He got a very interesting background as a developer, so please, if just come back here to watch on Wednesday, and if nothing else, then please. If you have questions, please, if you watch this afterwards, if you missed the live stream, you can watch it. Always watch it on my website. I will go back to my first slide so you would see it. Yeah, my first slide, please. Okay, so yeah, the link of the slides is here. My website is check.dev. All the videos can be found there. And if you found that, like, if you watch it later, you can always come to the Twitch and leave me comment in the, suggestion box or ask questions there, or you can find me on Twitter. You can see my Twitter handle there. So yeah, and if nothing else, I will see you either Wednesday or next week. So thank you so much, and I'm really glad that you have questions and help me to spot my mistake as well. So okay, so I will see you very soon. Bye.